Long before the development of pottery, people looked to the forest for containment materials. They made berry baskets from the bark of birch trees. The baskets were lightweight and waterproof due to natural resins in the bark. The making of these baskets is a tradition that carries on. For containing nature's bounty, birch bark is a natural choice. This berry basket is made entirely from materials found in nature. Making one starts with birch bark that's been carefully pried off the tree to avoid damage to the inner layer of bark. This cardboard pattern will be used as a template. The basket maker examines the bark for any holes or serious flaws. He flips the bark over. He'll use the inner side for the outside of the basket. He traces around the pattern using a scribe that lightly scores the bark. This light scoring creates a visible outline on the bark. Using scissors for cutting leather, he follows the pattern lines to cut the bark to the pattern shape. The contours are harder to follow, so he switches to scissors with curved blades to cut them out. He punches holes in the basket corners. This will stop the bark from splitting in these spots when it's folded. Using a pointed instrument known as a divider, he now etches stitch lines around the perimeter. He maps out the location for the stitch holes by lightly piercing the bark along the etched lines. Using a ruler for support, he bends the flaps of the pattern up, creating creases that will become permanent folds later. He punches out stitch holes where he had lightly pierced the bark. He drapes a damp towel over the birch bark and irons it. This softens the bark so that it doesn't split, as he now forms the final bends along the crease lines. He overlaps the ends of the basket. He clips the structure to hold it together while he inserts wooden dowels in some of the stitch holes. Once the dowels are in, he removes the clips. The dowels will keep the basket together for stitching. But first, he tapers a stem from a willow shrub using a wood plane. He inserts the stem in a cylindrical container and fills the cylinder with hot water. The tapered stem soaks overnight. It softens and becomes extremely flexible. Using a wooden form, he shapes the stem into a ring. The tapered ends overlap for a consistent thickness all the way around. He clips the ring to the inner rim of the basket and also tacks it in place with a few stitches. This willow ring will add support to the lip of the berry basket. Next, he stitches the seams together, using the root of a spruce tree for thread. Its tapered tip serves as a needle. He does precise back stitches and ensures all the seams are tight. Moving back to the rim of the basket, he punctures the bark just below the willow ring, creating a row of holes to loop the root around the rim. This spruce root wrap protects the rim ring and gives the basket a more finished look at the top. He slices a piece of cedar bark into long, narrow strips. He'll use these strips to make a handle for the basket. He weaves the cedar into a 5-strand braid. He loops the cedar braid at the ends and uses the loops to stitch the handle to the berry basket. It takes this artisan about a day to craft a birch bark berry basket. His efforts will no doubt bear fruit for many years to come.